Hey everybody, welcome back. We're going to talk about prepping today and how to deal with people that have their head in the sand, that do not want to pay attention, that think everything's just going to be fine, and somehow or another prices are going to come down, and there's going to be plenty of food, and there's absolutely no food shortage. I hear it all the time in the comments, not so much anymore since the food prices keep exploding.
Going up.
Along with everything else. Yep. Now, we've got a warning from the Kraft Heinz CEO that came out October 25th, I don't know, 10 days ago or something. So I do that to say, hey, it's not some guy behind an anvil with his wife saying there's going to be a food supply shortage. It's actually people that make the food, the farmers, the fertilizer distributors, right, the people that haul grain. It's all those kind of people. But before you get all worked up like I am right now, before you get all like this to somebody that doesn't know, to somebody that's like...
Well, let's stop for just a second. So the question we get asked a lot of times is, one, spouse. I get asked this probably almost weekly. What do you do if your spouse is not on board? What kind of facts can you present them besides, like he just said, somebody behind an anvil just, getting all worked up about something? What about your family members, if you have? But specifically, I think people are calling asking about spouses, because when you live in the same house, it's hard when you're not on the same page. Thankfully, we've been very blessed, and for the most part, we are, except for maybe crypto, but I'm eating crow on that and coming on board a little bit.
Well,
but so Chris has some facts.
I had to tell you it a few times to buy food.
Did you really? When we first started out? I guess when the whole what hit, I guess you did say, Stacy, go to the store, buy a little extra.
Well, it might have been a little before that too. Maybe not. But
true.
But I'm going to get into that in just a minute. She has no idea what I'm going to say.
Okay. Oh, all right. Here we go again.
But keep on going.
No, so read the facts, because this is really good. So if you do have someone come to you and they're asking you questions.
Here's what I would do. What you can do is the way I try to do most people is let them come up with their own conclusions. Don't treat them like I treated you at the beginning of this video. Hey, food prices are going to go up and you're going to die. Just try to say, hey, look at this. This is
facts.
Nuts. The Kraft and Heinz CEO says it's a constant fight. Inflation and supply chain bottlenecks are going to be a big problem for food prices next year. So what do you think about that? So that means food prices are going to go up next year, and they're already up like 11% this year?
Right, and wages are not going up.
So you mean if we bought food right now, that would save us money? Mm-hmm. That's something to think about. And then just kind of leave it alone for a while.
And buy stuff you're going to need. Don't go crazy. Just buy the stuff you're going to need.
That is a big one. I'll tell you about some of our failures as well.
Yes.
Because, hey, I'm going to tell you about those, just like I'm going to tell you about other things. But let me read just a little bit more of what the CEO says.
That's interesting.
This is really good. Companies and consumers should brace for a new normal of inflated prices. And Supply Chain Sags warns the CEO of one of the world's largest food and beverage providers. Do with that information what you think is prudent. Share that with somebody. Share this video with somebody. Sometimes it's easier to hear it from somebody else.
It is.
It goes in and talks about the difficulties, and it talks about extreme climate and weather events. It talks about Ukraine. It talks about all kinds of stuff. I will link this story in the description so you can go to it and check it out for yourself. But I don't want to make this all about the story. That's just one of the many. We had Goya CEO say, hey, food prices. We've had several different of these people that deal with food that actually move a bunch of it a year are saying, hey, I'm going to step up and I'm going to say we're going to have higher prices.
I think you just made a really good point. Sometimes hearing it from someone else besides your spouse or your family member does seem to sink in a little bit better. So that's a really good idea. Maybe just give them the information and let them, I guess, read it or hear from maybe us or someone else and go, okay, it's not just my family member or my spouse saying this. Because I've had to hear a few things from other people. Sorry, go ahead.
I had this conversation with Mark Moss at an event before I even had a YouTube channel.
You did.
And he said, you cannot be a prophet in your own town. And I thought about that for a second. I went, wow, he's right.
Yep.
It's better to hear it from somebody that you don't know or, somebody that... I don't know why. It's strange, but that is the truth.
It is. But there are some of the things that we are currently doing. So let's talk about food for a second, because you guys ask us all the time. I only buy the stuff that we're going to eat regardless. So it doesn't matter if I buy it today. It doesn't matter if I buy it from 6 months. And You're probably right. I guess I've always just become so accustomed that food's going to be there. It took me a little bit to like probably pick up on it. You picked up on it faster than I did. I'll give you
we
that.
had a fight about it.
We did. I don't remember that. We probably did.
It wasn't bad. It was just like I told you to pick up more food, and she did. It was like one extra bag of rice or something. But I wanted to, I wanted to get a jump on it.
Right.
And
I was probably slower picking up on that. I'm kind of more the one that, he's the one that's all in. He's the one that he jumps into something, and I'm the one kind of that steps back sometimes. I'm like, whoa, hold on. So sometimes, it does create some
anchor.
It does create some
You're
interest.
the rock that I lean on.
But anyway, so he's right. So I started researching and figuring out, okay, I was like, we're already going to use this food anyway. But the problem I realized, because, well, one of our mistakes is the rice. So I bought rice, and then I started buying several bags of rice, but I did not vacuum seal it. And I went out there to my
Well, that's what we decided to vacuum seal it, and we did on a few of them. It's like, it'll be okay. Sure enough, we had worms in some bags.
We did. So we've learned.
Caught it quick.
Right.
Caught it quick, and I vacuum sealed them worms up with the rest of that rice, and it killed them, and the rice is still good. So
we did. But anyway, through that research, we've learned definitely vacuum seal the stuff you get. So show the milk. I have learned this, and this works. We've proved it now. I've had this vacuum sealed for over a year now. Chris actually opened it up the other day, and it works great in his shakes. And what all do you use it in?
Man, I've been eating pudding in the evening. It's just a treat that I like. It's sugar-free pudding. It's got all kind of chemicals in it. I'm sure it's horrible for you. But it helps me kind of nip that sweet tooth in the bud. And I've been using this dried milk, and it's really nice. I'll throw some casein protein in there and some dried milk, and I'll make my pudding. I'll make just whatever you need milk in. It's right here. It's dried. It lasts forever. If you suck the air out of this, I mean, it's hard as a brick.
Right. It works.
It'll last a long time. And then after you use it, here's a little trick for you. You can cut the top right there where it's dry, where it's sealed. You can take your old one out, and the next time you get a new one, you can put the new one in there, and you can seal it up again.
Right.
There's absolutely no waste except for like this much.
Right.
So when you're making these bags, make them just about an inch or two longer, and you can reuse them over and over and over and over. This has been a home run.
Yep, works great.
And we're using this for now, because it's good.
So the other powder thing I want to show, now this we actually get from Patriots Supply. There's a few things that we get from them. You guys can use them. You cannot. I don't care where you go.
I've actually got an affiliate link if I can find it. I'll put it in the description.
Oh, okay. But this actually is really good. This lasts for, I think the shelf life is 25 years, I believe.
This is 72 large eggs. We have our own eggs, but this is only going up in value.
It is.
We've been, think about it. We've made 11%.
Well, just
already.
Think
from
about
last
this.
Year.
We eat eggs every day in our household.
Probably more. Actually.
Yeah. So what is the harm? I'm going to use this regardless. It's not that expensive. So what is the harm of just purchasing it, putting it on the shelf? It has a great shelf life. It's made in the United States, which I'm a fan of. So I actually like supporting that kind of stuff and just doing it. And there's not only that, but they have a couple more. Go ahead.
If you can do bread, muffins, cookies, anything that. What if you didn't want to go to the store and get some eggs and you just had a bucket of this? It's convenient. We use this stuff all the time.
We do this. This is another one. He uses peanut butter powder on his oatmeal. He uses it all the time.
I didn't know we had that.
Yo, I just bought that. I haven't showed that to you yet.
I love peanut butter powder.
Yeah. So, and that's a 25-year, I believe it's 25, it's either 25 or 35. Here's another one that I just got the other day. It's the butter powder. We use butter a lot. What is the harm of, because I'm also freezing butter, but at some point if I can't get my hands on it, what is the harm of having this just setting on, and it's not that much, you guys. It's really not that much.
I've never had butter powder. I cannot talk about it. I don't know. I'm curious.
So I have never personally used the butter powder, but I know somebody that personally has, and it came highly recommended, so I bought some, putting it on the shelf. If I need it, I've got it. One more thing real quick before we go to that, for the Patriots Supply. This is another great item.
This thing is awesome.
And I'm not telling you to go to Patriots Supply. You do what you want. But I've actually burned one of these because I wanted to see if it worked. This is a 100-hour candle, and I was pleasantly surprised. And there's no funky odor. There's no black residue that comes out of the top. It's very clean. So I actually bought several of these. I put them in a dry, cool place, and hopefully...
Our electricity goes out from time to time, and it is handy to grab these things and set them around because they put out a lot of light. I was impressed on how much light they put out.
Yep.
And we burned it for a long time, and you can tell it's barely any out of it.
I wanted to try it, so I actually put it to the test. I was very, very impressed. But going back to the rice.
The rice and my misfortunes and my failures.
Well, this is what we
Oh, how they're
learned when we
smelly.
open the bag. When we open the bag, don't just leave that bag open. I'll let you tell it because you actually found this, which is
These are hard
phenomenal.
to find.
They
You
are.
can find Cambro. They're made in Huntington Beach, California. They really
Snap.
seal good. We'll dump our whole 5-pound bag of rice in here. We'll leave the cup in there, and it keeps really good. When you get about right here, you'll be able to tell the rice is starting to not be as fresh.
Mm-hmm.
And we usually make a little extra for the dogs. If it's too bad, we'll feed it to the chickens. We haven't had that happen in a while, actually.
Only thing I've noticed really is when you get to about down here, like he says, when you go to rinse it, because we always rinse our rice before we cook it, it's just a little bit more of that white substance that seems to rinse off more than when you start at the
Yeah,
top.
there's no saving it either. It's just, I'm not sure what happens. It just degrades. Food
It does. But
that.
this has been the best way that we've found it. And so I'll let you talk about the rice. I mean, not the rice, the salt. Because this has been a game changer for us.
This is Redmond's Real Salt, and they reached out to me to get an affiliate link, but I just don't want to make this channel all about affiliate links. So go get it.
We love it.
It's good. It's from Utah. The problem with Himalayan pink salt is it's mined in Pakistan. So I'm out on that. Okay, this is mined in the USA from an ancient seabed, and it's pink, and it is awesome. It has a wonderful flavor. I buy 25-pound bags of it, and we put them in these mason jars.
Store them in a cool, dark place, and you're good to go.
Actually, I have a little tip for you about fasting. If you'll take this large grain, whatever salt you like, but I like the large grain. I kind of like to crunch on it. About lunchtime, I'll have salt and water for lunch because I've been fasting for 18 to 20 hours a day, and it really kind of knocks those hunger pains out. And this is the salt I've been using. So check out Redmond's Real Salt. I'm not affiliated with them, but they just have some good salt.
Yep. Therefore, he has guns more than I do. I need to do a little bit more fasting. All right, here's my last tip. And this is not for just preppers. This is just for every day, but also it's good for prepping. These containers I found off Amazon, they seal amazing. I've been using these for over a year now, almost 2 years. I have never had flour, sugar, cornmeal, and then I have bread flour. I have 4 of these go bad. I've never had any bugs in them. They seal super tight, and when it just goes down, this is about 2 bags, I believe, if I remember correctly, that I have in here. And it works amazing. I actually need to get some more of these because these are getting harder and harder to
We
find.
don't ever use flour.
Very rare, but that's how long this stays in here, and it does not get bad.
Yeah,
No
that's
moisture.
impressive because we never use it.
Yeah, we hardly ever use flour. But anyway, it's a great way to store it. I also vacuum seal some flour that I put in a cool, dark place, but the stuff that I need easy access, these things are amazing. And speaking of which, I probably need to get some more and just set them aside because they're great. They seal up super good.
You can suck the air out of those things, and they're like a brick.
Yeah,
I
when
don't
you
see
vacuum
how
seal.
it can go bad. I'm sure it could go bad, but it should last a long time without any oxygen or moisture.
Mm-hmm.
Try to remember that. And so the failure that I promised, I felt like I wanted a year's worth of chicken food, laying pellets, and I didn't buy the organic.
That was a lot my fault because I was worried things were going to happen, and I kept pushing you to buy some.
It's about $20 a bag, or back then it wasn't. I think it was like 14. So that tells you how much it's gone up. But I bought a year's worth of chicken food, and I was told to put them in a barrel and bag them up and suck the air out, or put some oxygen absorbers in there and seal the barrel up. I thought it'll be okay in my shop. I'll put it in the back of the shop. I'll put it up off the floor, and it'll be fine. It wasn't. It molded. I think about a quarter of the pallet went bad, and it also got bugs in it, degraded. Thought, well, the chickens will eat the bugs. Well, I'm not sure what happens, but all I know is the chickens out of 28 or 26, we're getting about 3 or 4 eggs a day.
Yeah, the laying stopped.
The laying has stopped, and I thought it was they were molting or something. I don't know. Something is bad off. So I'm thinking it's the pellets have degraded, and so take that for what it's worth. If you do buy up chicken food, store it well. Thank you, Buffalo Richard, for telling me that. I'm sorry, I did not listen.
Another hard lesson
I
learned.
hate dumping that money out. I don't leave anything on my plate. I'll eat leftovers until they're gone, and for me to dump out $20 bags of food is just a bummer. But I can tell you guys about it, and you won't make these mistakes.
Learn. Yeah, and if you guys have any tips, please leave them in the comments. I'm always learning. I always like to learn stuff that's actually, well, it's going to help you today. It's not something, I'm not living in a cellar underground. I mean, this is stuff that I'm going to use regardless.
Use it anyway, that's right.
And
you're going to
so-
make money on it because you're going to save money.
Yeah, so it's just practical tips. If you know practical tips, I love hearing them. I'm always learning.
We're going to make this video again at the end of next year, and we're going to talk about how much money we save by buying food ahead of time.
Oh, all right.
Guaranteed. It's a for sure bet. I think it'll beat the stock market, as a matter of fact.
Okay.
So, guys, have an awesome, awesome day. Thank you for being here. Hit the like button, subscribe, and ring the bell. We'll see you in the next one. Later.